Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Auzubillahi minash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back to Islamic Finance and Properties. मैं आपका होस्ट अली काजी. आज हमारे पास बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग गेस्ट आई हुई हैं और ब्रेक से पहले आपका तारुफ भी करवाया था. फिर से ब्रेक के बाद भी उनसे फिर से तारुफ करवा देते हैं. ये है नाइला सईद और ये वालेकुम अस्सलाम अगेन. और ये हाउसिंग बेनिफिट कंसल्टेंट है और आप हमें बता रही थी कि आप की कंपनी जो है
जी
वो किस हिसाब किताब से ये हाउसिंग करती हैं एंड हाउ यू डील विद टेम्परेरी अकोमोडेशन एंड हाउ यू डील विद सपोर्टेड अकोमोडेशन एज वेल. सो दैट वाज क्वाइट इंटरेस्टिंग और मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा कि आपने अच्छा मुझे आप नाइला ये बता क्योंकि यू नो we have so many people here, we have so many first time buyers as well and हमेशा first time buyers भी मुझे ये कह रहे होते हैं कि Ali, is it the right time to buy? और मैं हमेशा उनको यही कहता हूँ कि जी the right time to buy is the time when you can actually afford to buy.
I totally agree.
All right, okay, good. Well, that's one thing that we definitely in agreement with, right? Okay. लेकिन you know many years ago you started. Now you have a portfolio of what 2,000 properties.
It's the portfolio is to do with Midlands Living CIC.
Yeah, Midlands Living CIC and plus also yours.
Yeah,
as well.
I've got my own properties.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, tell me, how did you? You know, it takes a lot of determination, and you need to be a certain kind of a person to actually plunge into something like this. तो आपने properties किस तरह के खरीदनी शुरू करी? क्या? What was the throw? Must have been many years ago. लेकिन क्या आपको भी लोगों ने कहा होगा कि don't buy?
Motivation was that I have a passion about housing people. Because I've seen many people whilst working with local authorities, the kind of conditions they are living in. So I thought, if I can, even if it's 3 or 4 properties, at least you will make, difference in 3 or 4 people's life, if not the entire community. So this is how I started. It was not so easy. It was very hard to purchase a property. And
उस वक्त आपको लोगों ने कहा कि अभी मत खरीदें. Let the prices come down.
Yeah, they told me to buy in Dubai, and I said, why?
All right, okay.
Why in Dubai? Why not in here?
Right.
We have people who need properties in here, not outside.
Actually, in Dubai, they have a surplus.
And they said, you can have a better return. And I said, I'm not only looking for a return. I need to see the happiness on people's face. And if I'm buying a property far away, I will not know how happy they are. I won't be able to see them regularly.
Yeah.
So I actually try and keep a very close connection with my tenants. I do visit them regularly. Even if they are not my tenant, they still call me and ask for help, to be very honest.
Okay. So, buying your first property, I mean, obviously your husband was here.
Of course, yes.
And was he very...
Yes, he was very supportive. He supported me throughout this journey. It's not so easy to, have more than 2 or 3 properties on board. So yes, the support was there.
Okay. And so both of you then started looking to buy some other properties as well. So mortgage karna aur ye sara kuch karna, it must have been quite daunting.
I think perhaps it wasn't so difficult for me, to be very honest. I've just been very fortunate and lucky, to be very honest, that people have made, my life easy. Every time I went to the bank, and at that time I was young as well. So when you're young, people can see the enthusiasm in you and they want to help you.
All right. Okay.
And I noticed that I felt that I was helped in terms of mortgage. And various people said, oh, their mortgage have been declined. And I said, luckily my one has been approved. Maybe I ticked all the right boxes, or maybe I provided them the information that they were looking at. Because sometimes people think they've given everything that they possibly could, but it may not be the right information. So,
I always say one thing, Naila ji, and I always say to our viewers as well, the one thing that you can actually consciously make sure that's in order is your credit report. I think that's the important.
That must have been excellent.
That's right. Okay. So, and that itself, if you're in charge of your finances and you're making sure that your bills are paid on time and
Definitely, you must know how to manage your budget and maintain your finances. That's the main skill one must have to be able to survive in this sector. Otherwise, you can't. It's a juggling 24/7, and you must know how to do that.
Properties खरीदनी शुरू कर दी.
Yes.
ठीक है. And I remember at that time,
yes, I purchased a couple of properties from you as well.
I remember, और आपने बड़ा याद करा था, और आपको मैंने एक दो घर भी बेचे थे.
Exactly, you actually helped my friend who had come from Pakistan. She purchased a couple of flats around Sheffield University. I don't know if you remember. You only just sourced her. You didn't really participated throughout that process. You just referred her to the right person. And she benefited from it. She calls me on and off.
All right, okay. Well, I'm glad that she benefited, and I'm glad that you did as well. And I'm really, really happy that I many years ago, many moons ago, I did actually help you purchase a property. Achha, right, okay. So you bought these properties, and then obviously, you know, at that time, you went straight to the...
I was working full-time at that time.
Achha, right, okay.
So this was in addition to my full-time job.
You were working in a council?
I was working with more than 3 councils at that time, because I provide on-site and off-site consultancy to the local authorities. I had my own firm, and I registered my firm with the local authorities. So I think my first property, that was so long ago. I was with the certain council at that time.
Okay.
When I purchased my first property.
Okay.
And then I moved on to Slough Council,
okay, so
Haringey Council, Canterbury, Rushmore, quite a few. Southampton, Portsmouth City Council. I've worked with various local authorities. It's not just 1 or 2. I don't even remember.
And not just in London, but also sort of
outside.
throughout the country.
I've traveled because it was not so easy to be able to pay the mortgage of those properties that are taken on board. So I had to make sure that there was enough money at the end of the month for those mortgage payments to be met. I didn't totally relied on the tenants, because you cannot.
No, of course.
So you need to have some, backup.
Yeah, no, of course, absolutely.
Available.
Absolutely. अच्छा, सबसे पहले तो आपने private tenancy की होगी. Did you start off with the?
I was although it was a privately rented properties, but I was always a social kind of a landlord, social landlord type. I will always take on board the people who cannot be housed by anybody else. If a person is on social security benefits. At that time, we had income support and job seekers announced. Now it's called universal credit. The entire benefit system has been reformed. So an ordinary landlord would not house them because of their personal finances or social circumstances, because they don't really want them to, interact with people who are not, they are, I wouldn't say they're 100%, but they might be suffering from mental health issues, non-specific mental health issues like depression, anxiety, bipolar. So people tend to avoid this kind of a tenant, but they forget this very main point, that they are the part of our community and somebody has to look after them. And that's where I came into it. So this was the whole background of getting some properties on board.
Okay. Well, I mean,
although it's private, but it was still social at the same time.
Very, very commendable, because बल्कि आपकी career ही start off हुई थी ये Women's Welfare Association के साथ.
Yes.
Right, which was a charitable thing.
Yes.
और फिर then you did, your own social housing जो आप इस वक्त social housing तो नहीं आप कह सकते, but temporary and supported accommodation.
Working with council is also a charity, because they are giving you a top-up benefit. You will only come to the council offices towards your rental payments if you have no income or you have a low income. So basically, it is also a charity funded by the government. So.
Okay, and as you know, the Iqra is also a part of a charity as well. So,
Mashallah.
Actually, so you're definitely in the right sort of environment.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, but have you ever dealt with private tenants? Because you were telling me during the break that there were private tenants and you did have problems where they didn't pay you the rent and
yes.
so forth.
even if a tenant is a social tenant under a social tenancy, social housing tenancy, they can still cause a problem. Because of the new universal credit, the payments go directly to them. Although there are situations where the payments can be directed directly to the landlords, but the tenants have the rights to direct the payments to themselves. So sometime I've come across many people just before, I just give you one recent, not recent, last Christmas. Somebody owed me nearly £4,000 and I was waiting for that payment to come from the Universal Credit. By mistake, Universal Credit made that payment to that tenant. And what he does, he buys a big full screen television instead of
paying you. Yeah.
forwarding the rent to the person who was providing them with the safe and comfortable living environment.
Yeah.
And when I called him, he wasn't picking up the phone and decided to go and knock his door. I knocked his door. And I said, why haven't you paid the rent? And they said, they haven't paid. And I said, here is the evidence. You've got it. They've sent me an email. You've got this amount of money. Oh, I thought the DWP have given me a Christmas gifts. And I said, do you really believe in that?
Well, there you are.
And he said, and I said, where is that money? What did you do with that? I spent it all. I bought the gifts. I bought the Christmas gifts. Okay. So there are people like that. Okay. Now I can't tell that he really meant that, he really believed the DWP gave him a Christmas gift of just above £4,500, or he deliberately kept that money to enjoy the festive season. You never know.
Okay, well that's...
So this is just one example. There are millions like that.
But on the whole, I mean, obviously that is a loss for your company. Okay?
Of course.
I mean, if that property is a rental property, that is a loss for your company, because as far as you're concerned.
But remember one thing, we don't own all the buildings. Some of them are on lease. We also have some responsibility to pay the lease.
Some of these are on tenancy agreements as well.
Yes, we are also the tenants of someone. So if the rent is not paid to us, it's so difficult for us to pass on the rent, because we are giving guaranteed rent.
Like technically speaking, you're taking all the responsibility.
Oh yes, yes.
Right. Okay. So as far as people are concerned,
but managing, looking after, filling in, all kind.
मैं ये कह रहा था नाज़रीन को कि there are two ways of doing this. You can go directly to the council and actually sort of give them your property for temporary accommodation or supported accommodation, or you can come to somebody like Naila, who actually already does this, but they would actually then guarantee you the rent. And social housing के अंदर मेरा ख्याल है, I think sort of market value तो मिलती है, मेरा ख्याल है थोड़ा ज़रा ज़्यादा भी कर देंगे, लेकिन
no, they are better off because their rent is guaranteed. So if it's rented out in the market, I'm sure out of 12 months, they will not be paid for 3 months because the tenant can say anything. And
there's always that risk, isn't there? Yes.
Yes, and the law doesn't support you, because if a tenant doesn't pay you the rent, you have to wait for the first 2 months before you can issue them with Section 8 or Section 21 notice to recover the money and to gain the possession. And then once that is issued, then the court takes about 2 to 3 months. So you've lost almost 6 months worth of rent. So it's better to give out your property to someone who can look after you and guarantee you the rent, even if it's slightly lesser than the market value.
There is that sort of a thing as well where the government is actually proposing new tenancy laws as well. I mean, I'm not sure if it's gone through Parliament yet. I will definitely check.
That is abolition of Section 21.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that permits landlords to evict without any fault.
That's right.
Of tenants that they are removing. They're considering.
Sorry?
They are considering at the moment.
That's right.
Likelihood is that it's going to go ahead because the tenants
and then there are other things as well, that once you've actually rented your property out to someone, you're technically not allowed to sell it for the next 2 years if there's a new tenant. There are certain things in that thing which they're actually probably discussing at the moment, and but once that is done and that is passed, it will become law, and it will be slightly more sort of challenging for landlords, and probably a little less worrying for tenants. And if you are a landlord and you are thinking of doing something on those sort of things. I think sort of finding a safer bet, like sort of the council or working with a person like Naila would probably be the right sort of way to go forward. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, you're right, but I'm not actually happy if something like this is being considered, because what the government is going to do, because the landlord, of course, will not obviously be interested in renting out, and that encourages homelessness and the shortage of accommodations. And we are already short of accommodations in many parts of UK, and the government is encouraging build new housing. So
Yeah,
I don't know how they're going to justify that action, because this is very discouraging to the landlords.
It is definitely discouraging to sort of landlords, and definitely without a shadow of doubt. I mean, there is no doubt about that. But on the flip side, I think something like this would mean that landlords would then dispose of their properties because...
To the council?
No, not to the council. Dispose of their properties in terms of selling their properties, which would mean that more properties would come on the market, which would mean that there is a bigger supply in the market.
That's what I'm saying.
Which
properties
would mean that, technically speaking, if that did happen, demand and supply ka jo chakkar hota hai, to maybe the prices might soften a bit as well. So, I mean, there are situations that might actually happen. We don't know whether that's going to happen or not going to happen. This is just totally an opinion. But at the same time,
we have to wait for this to happen.
If it does happen, that there are ifs and buts where things can actually go pear-shaped as well.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think we have to worry too much about the housing market in terms of their stability, because I think it's still a very, very strong market out there. There is plenty of demand out there. Interest rates are phenomenally cheap again. When I say phenomenally cheap, don't compare them to the last 5 years, 6 years, but we're still talking about borrowing being quite cheap as well at the same time. So there are things where the property market is actually being fueled. The job market is up, inflation is down, the economy is growing. It grew by 0.6% as well. So there are things that are actually happening with the British economy, which are actually looking pretty good at the moment. But depending on their fiscal policies and what happens, obviously that would be a major sort of a thing. And then then you have to wait for the follow through in terms of what actually happens to the property market. Okay, so getting back to the property market. So ठीक है, आपने ये फिर properties खरीद ली, आपने rent out कर दी, then and you're working for 3-4 different councils. A lot of hard work.
It is.
A lot of hard work. Yes. I mean,
but if you enjoy what you're doing,
you enjoy working?
Yes, I'm a workaholic. If I don't have a work, I just don't feel right. I think there is something missing, something odd.
All right, okay. So आप अपना काम के अंदर ही सारी जिंदगी तो आपने काम में गुजारा.
Yes, but I don't think I have missed out anything, to be very honest. I'm very happy with my life.
Acha. But working for 3-4 councils.
Even if it was 24/7 work, I'm still happy.
No, but giving kids the time and that sort of family time, family life and that kind of thing.
You can
how did you juggle that? With great difficulty,
it is difficult, but you can always find a fair balance to, accommodate everyone.
I'm actually, the commendable thing is that Lahore ki khatun यहाँ आके और इतनी progressive. क्या आपका did your parents always encourage you? How did you get this entrepreneurial spirit?
Oh, of course, the encouragement was always there from the parents that we must do something in life.
From the beginning?
From the beginning. And even when I was a student, I was used to work. I was used to work in Punjab University, Lahore.
That's right, okay.
Yes, I studied graphic arts. Basically, what I'm doing is totally different than what I learned as a young person in Pakistan. My degree is in graphic arts.
And that's from Punjab University?
That is from Punjab University.
Yeah, apna canal...
Just opposite Tollington Market, Lahore.
All right.
Okay. Closer to Anarkali, Mall Road.
All right, okay.
So then that's where I did my degree. So when I came to this country, I was completely in a different kind of environment. But I thought this is what I needed. Maybe this is what I was.
और
I
इंग्लिश
had
क्लास के ऊपर आप गई
But
और
I've
साथ ही
never-
आपने नौकरी कर ली.
Shall I tell you? I've never been to any English classes.
Achha.
I never found an opportunity. That was the first time when I wasn't doing anything, and I thought, let's go to college. And there I met the old students who were doing drawings. So I helped them with their drawings, and I just got a job. And since then, I'm continuously working. It's almost, I would say, 37 plus years of a continuous work, no break.
Good God, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And you know, आप तो अब माशाल्लाह ये social housing के अंदर ये temporary accommodation and supported accommodation के अंदर इसके अंदर आपका बड़ा अच्छा वो आप काम कर रही हैं. तो टाइम हमारा बस अब ख़त्म होने वाला है. तो आप अगर जल्दी से कोई मैसेज देना चाहती हैं in regards to our audience के why they should come to you, why if they have any properties, why should they give it to your particular company? Do you want to have a quick?
I think we've said almost everything, but if anyone has any properties and they can come forward and we'll take all the responsibilities and free them from all the hard work of worrying about whether the tenant has paid a rent or whether there are any maintenance issues or decoration issues. And we also give them the guarantee with the rent, so they will never be short of any rental payments.
So they're never going to be short of their rental payments,
Their rental
their
payments,
commitments.
their commitments. That's all I can say. Or if you know anyone who is homeless, please do refer them to us. We'll look after them.
Fantastic. Okay,
Thank you.
that's actually phenomenal. Absolutely.
Thank
बड़ा मज़ा आया नाइला. Thank you so much आपका आने का और जो आप काम कर रही हैं अल्लाह ताला उसके अंदर बरकत डाले. तो
बहुत
नाज़रीन
शुक्रिया आपके बुलाने का और giving me an opportunity to say.
थैंक यू. अच्छा लो नाज़रीन, अब हमारा वक्त हो गया है ख़त्म और until next week बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग गुफ्तगू हुई. इनकी जर्नी फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान टू लंदन और किस तरह इन्होंने ये ग्रो किया, पाकिस्तान से आई और अब माशाल्लाह शी इज़ रनिंग अ फिनोमिनल बिजनेस फॉर सोशल हाउसिंग. तो आई होप कि आप लोगों को इसके अंदर से इंकरेजमेंट भी मिली होगी. अगर ये कर सकती हैं, मैं कर सकता हूँ, कोई और कर सकता
Anyone
है,
can
सारे
do
कर
that.
सकते हैं. Until next week आपसे इंशाल्लाह ताला फिर मुलाकात होगी. मेरी तरफ से अल्लाह हाफ़िज़.